and it used to be 9. So we're getting more and more children, younger and younger. And when you're talking about children in poverty, you have a huge risk of school dropout and all the issues that go along with poverty.
I assume that homeless children who are 6 really don't go to school.
Yes, they do. We do have an education law that says if you're homeless, you have to go to school.
Do they go?
Well, if their parents are good, they're going to send them to school because then they can not worry about where they're going to be during the day. So school actually does provide a nice refuge. The problem is that if you have a child sitting in a classroom worrying about where are they going to sleep when they go home or what are they going to find when they get home, obviously they're not thinking about schoolwork. That's why it's good to get them into a transitional housing program where they have a roof over their head for at least a year, or if we can rapidly rehouse them into housing that they can stay in, then they don't have to move around and change schools.
Now, when you're talking about these homeless, are they going through any sort of vocational training?
Oh, absolutely.
To kind of get them out of the stage of poverty?
Right. The whole issue of homelessness, while housing is the core component because you want to get people off the street, the other domains of their life need to be addressed. So if the parent does not have a high school degree, we provide adult basic ed and GED preparation. If they don't speak English, we have an ESL program. If they need job training skills, we give them job training skills. We teach them how to write a resume. We teach them how to interview. We have case management services. We provide mental health and substance abuse support. We have support groups for all the children. So what we do is we take a snapshot of the population we're serving, do an assessment, identify the needs, and then address those needs while they're with us.
Now, the President of the United States is going to be talking about the importance of community colleges.
Yep.
And if you have people that are in, you have very good community colleges in Middlesex County.
We do.
If you have people that are in your homeless program, and you have what you think are good entry-level programs at Middlesex for people, are you able to pay the tuition? Because tuition is really going up in community college.
The community colleges are very good in giving scholarships. As a matter of fact, Amanla Crossing is right next door to Middlesex County College, and our residents over the last 23 years have gone to, and we have encouraged them to participate at Middlesex County College. The president of the college actually sits on my board, and so she is a very big help. Our young women who have aged out of the state's foster care system, they actually get scholarship from the state to cover as long as they go in-state. So tuition is not a barrier to someone going to school. They get to go.
If I'm a person who's homeless and I want to go to Middlesex Community College and get myself a degree in something, what do I usually get a degree in?
Well,
what's my entry-level job?
Phlebotomy, medical assistant. A lot of them want to go on to be nurses, so they'll get they'll look in the medical fields. Computers is a big field. One of the things that we try to do with our residents on site when we do our job training is look at fields where there is growth potential, where there is a potential of earning a sufficient amount of money to support a family. And we do that by testing them, see where their acumen is.
Right.
I don't want to send somebody who doesn't like working with blood into phlebotomy. So we try and identify what they like to do, and then we help direct them.
What's your own background?
I have a master's degree in counseling, and I've worked for the past 23 years in the nonprofit sector, doing mental health and social services.
And you got into that, why?
It was a calling. I think everybody needs a passion in life. Mine happens to be my living, and I have a passion for doing this. I have a feeling about people need assistance. They don't need to be cared for and made dependent on. They need to be empowered. and learn to be independent. And I've done that through my social service, my mental health work, and now with the homeless.
We had one of the first major articles, I guess, on homelessness on the Hall website by a woman at Bloomfield College.
Okay.
Kirkland, I think her name.
Oh, yes.
And it was a long, long article. And we not only put it on our website, we published it in our first volume to come out.
Wow.
And I said to our people, let's do it as an op-ed piece.
Right.
Because I really feel strongly about the question of the homelessness. I said, would you do this op-ed piece?
Right.
You know, the newspapers said, we really are tired of stories that make people sad.
And
they said, we don't want to do your op-ed piece, nothing to do with you, nothing to do with her article, nothing to do with what you've already done on her. We just don't want another sad piece of work. We want to look the other way when we walk and see these people.
Yep.
And for a long time, we did walk the other way.
Yep.
We thought with prosperity that things were getting better, though. There seemed to be fewer people and from panhandling. And now, of course, that's changed enormously.
Yes.
In the last 2 years. These are sad stories, but tell me some of your successes.
I was going to say, they start out sad, but they end up very happy. Every graduate of our program moves into permanent, affordable housing. So every graduate ends their homelessness. That's a success. Every family that moves into permanent housing, the children in that family do better in school. They are stable. They don't have a high school dropout rate or school dropout rate. 2 of my staff are graduates of Amon La Crossing. One got her BSW, one just finished her MSW. We have people who have left our program, started their own business. They have gone into the culinary arts and opened restaurants. My success is that these folks have long-term sustained self-sufficiency, and they've gotten a high school degree. And I think all of us, whether we've been homeless or not, are always going to be affected by the economy, the ups and downs. But I feel that once someone comes through a transitional housing program and gets the support they need, they can weather those storms much better. They won't end up back in the system.
There's a terrible expression that a good portion of the American public is only 2 paychecks away from being homeless.
Actually, 1 paycheck.
1 paycheck
Right,
away.
right. And I think that's why people don't want to look at it, because they don't want to face the fact that, you know, there but for the grace of God, everybody could end up homeless.
A lot of people, when they're homeless, they end up in living with a family relative.
Yes.
Why don't your people live with family relatives?
They do. And after a while, it becomes an overcrowding situation. And that's not an answer to homelessness. Do we want to develop a third world nation where people do live 3 and 4 and 5 families in a cramped 1-room apartment or 1-bedroom apartment? I don't think that's the American dream. I think the American dream, and I'm going to amend it a little bit, is that everybody should have their own home. It doesn't mean they own it, but they have a home that they either pay rent or whatever that is theirs. If you want to live with family, it should be by choice, not by necessity. So I have very strong feelings about that.
How many of these people that come into your program come out of it and then come back in again?
Nope.
How many of the homeless are in and out?
They can't come back, unfortunately.
Where would they go?
We haven't had but maybe a handful of people who have lost their housing. And they will call us, and we will work with them to get rehoused. There is money now that the federal government, that President Obama put out for the recovery, and we got homeless prevention rapid rehousing money, so that if somebody is on the verge of homelessness, we work with them to prevent that homelessness. We pay their back